Hi, guys. I'm back today with a guest. I'm so excited to interview Erika Wald today. Thank you, Erika, so much for coming on, and I can't wait to hear all about what's going on with you and Jason these days.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be here.
So, Erika is in real estate as an investor, and can you tell us a little bit, just Cliff's notes on who you are and how you ended up joining the Pace Morby community?
Yeah, absolutely. I like to say my real estate journey began about 20 years ago. I fell into it by accident as a hobby. My ex-husband was a contractor. So
Cool.
I ended up having a construction business and I loved the hands-on of doing fix and flips and doing our own homes. And fast forward, I met Jason and he said, I want to get into real estate. And I said, yes, I love it. And we bought our first property, and it was a fourplex in Colorado Springs, and we did it
Cool.
conventionally. And we realized we were not going to scale the way that we wanted to,
Okay.
pace Morby. And that was, I think, November 21, 22, 22.
Okay.
And after that, we bought 3 single family homes and we did it creatively. And then we're not going to scale at the rate we want to leave our jobs. And hence we went into multifamily. And we've
Wow.
been RV parks ever since January of this year.
Oh, that is so cool. So you're like making decisions like pretty rapidly. I mean, this is all within the last couple of years.
Yes, very much so in the last couple years. My thing is that I think fear and having to know everything slows us down. And if you are willing to jump in and make mistakes and learn the lessons, you can accelerate your growth and you can grow much faster.
So true. So true. I agree with you. I think fear is the number one thing that holds people back and that
Mhm.
analysis paralysis. Have you found it challenging to get into the real estate investment world with interest rates where they are right now? Or that's why you're doing creative financing, I'm assuming?
That's why I'm doing creative financing, right? I mean, with creative financing, it really doesn't matter. And I'll give you an example. The first house we bought after joining Pace Morby, which is it's my favorite deal, and it's an incredible deal. We got it on seller financing. The lady was in a pickle, found it through a wholesaler. The wholesale was able to negotiate a higher purchase price for her, but at principal only. So there's no interest on it. What that means for me as an investor is I have a home in a nice area in Florida, and my mortgage payment is $550 a month,
Wow, that's incredible. And
which is
then he was able
incredible.
to help her, or you were able to help her because the amount was a little higher than what she would have gotten otherwise.
Right. So she'll get her balloon in 6 years. And in the meantime, we have a long-term renter in there that's at $24.50 a month. It's a nice profit. And now,
That's so cool.
granted, insurance and taxes in Florida is a little more expensive, but our
Sure.
total in monthly is about $1,100 a month.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so how did you find, because you're from Texas, right? Or is
I'm
that
in
where you are
Texas
right
currently.
now? Okay. Okay, so how did you end up finding this wholesaler and this deal in Florida?
Yeah, it's through the Get Creative with Pace group, the free group that he has, because the wholesaler loves the Pace Morby stuff, but is not part of the community, which is fine. So he's done all this stuff creatively. And you and I don't know if you're this old, I'm this old. Do you remember when you used to call in on the radio to get to the
Oh, yeah.
first one in? That's what
Yeah.
it was like, honestly.
Okay.
I was scouring the Facebook pages, looking at things. I saw this property. I knew it was a deal. And I got up and I said, I need this property right away. And I was the
Nice.
first in line.
Good for
There was
you.
20 people behind me, and the wholesaler did the right thing. We gave him 5K over his asking on his commissions from it.
Hmm.
And then there was people lining up behind us that were giving another 5K over. And
Wow.
he said, I will sell to you because you were the first one here and you already treated me right. And I committed to giving this property to you.
Wow.
Yeah,
So you really had to have some guts too to be able to jump on something really quickly.
really quick.
Did you already have your buyer parameters in mind, and so that's why when you saw this house, you knew it was the one for you? Now, did you have fears and like second guess, or you just told yourself, when we get to the inspection stage or whatever, then we'll make it firm? Like how did that work?
Yeah, it was interesting. We bought it sight unseen because of my background. I knew how to do everything in construction, right? I could do everything from framing to drywall to tiling to whatever. So I can quickly look at a property and estimate how much repair it's going to need.
Nice.
So it didn't scare me to get into a project house if we were going to get into a project house. So we knew based on the numbers and based on our lessons from buying our fourplex that it was going to be a good deal, right?
Yeah.
Quick little underwriting. Underwriting is my specialty. I am one of the best underwriters. I'm kind of grateful
I
to
love
admit.
that. I love
I,
that.
I do underwriting right now and I teach it to Vina Jetty's community. So I could tell it was going to be a deal, but this is where you have to make a little bit of a risky decision and make a fast decision, right? Because sometimes we get into that analysis paralysis and we said, it's good enough. We have to go forward. We did. And we got boots on the ground and we realized there was $50,000 in repairs that needed to be done. Still
Yeah.
a good deal,
It was
right?
still a good deal. Okay.
Still a good deal.
Good
And
for you.
still profitable because we had that wide margin between what
Yeah.
the mortgage was and what we were going to be able to rent it out for. And that was some of the best margins I had seen because I had been scouring single family for a while. And I kept seeing, well, it'll cash flow 200 or 300 a month. And I'm going, it's not enough to pay a property manager. It's not enough to have reserves. Like I
Yeah.
wanted a wider spread. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That is so cool. So, I'm seeing now why Jason has snagged you up as a partner.
Yeah.
Like you come with some powerful skills, with the construction knowledge that you have, and then
Mhm.
also, just really, really confident when it comes to underwriting. Between those two things, like what more do you really need?
The relationship side of it, which is how we balance each other because he is more the relationship side and I tend to be the action taker and the one that does the stuff in the background.
That's so cool. So he kind of gets the conversation started, and then you take it to the finish line.
Well, and he nurtures our investors too, right? So he is the side of the business that really builds those solid relationships, which is great because you need in any kind of partnership, Pace talks about this, you need somebody who's the integrator and somebody
Yeah.
who is the visionary. And
Yeah.
he's very much our visionary and I'm very much the integrator in the back end. And so between the two of us, our skills offset each other and what we can accomplish.
Nice. That's so beautiful. I'm so happy for you guys.
Yeah.
Of course. So the last time that I spoke with Jason, you guys were, I'm trying to remember now, the RV park, and I think he had mentioned that one of the deals had like fallen through, but then you had your sights on a different one.
Yeah.
Can you catch us up if it's
It,
public knowledge?
it has fallen through again for the right reason.
Okay.
And this is part of this where I would say that if you're going to go into real estate, you have to have grit
Yeah.
and be okay with this.
Yeah.
So during our due diligence period on park number 2, and we had park number 3 under contract too, so I'll tell you about that. But on park number 2, during our due diligence, what we found out is the broker misrepresented the property, the agent,
That's
grossly.
really good. Yeah.
Where the gross income was reported when we made our offering on the property at 1.2 million. And then we did our due diligence and we went to an event and we actually counted the cars and the campers and
Yeah.
looked at it. The actual gross income is 320,000 annually.
That's yeah. Yeah,
It's
that's
about
terrible.
900 days of rents.
You can't make
So
that happen.
so the property value went from it was about, I valued it at about 8 million to a value of about 1.5 million.
Well, it's a good
And
thing
so,
that you did your due diligence on that one and backed out.
right. And so we backed out. Now, still talking to the seller, and obviously he's suffering from this decision that the broker made and what he was promised because this was his retirement. And he's struggling to come to terms with what the reality is on his offering and what
Yeah.
a new offering would be.
Yeah.
And then we went under contract on a third park, and public knowledge we like to share because as we learn and share with our community, others learn.
Yeah.
What happened with this one is we met the seller. He's fantastic. It's a great park, great opportunity. He wanted us to buy it. He was given a letter of intent. So LOI, for those that don't know the term,
Mhm.
letter of intent is somebody saying, I am interested and an interested party in your park, but it is not a contract. Well, the day that we submitted our letter of intent. He got another letter of intent that was binding, and the binding letter of intent is a contracted. So they did go after him with a lawyer after he went under contract with us and told him he had to cancel the contract with us, and they had to submit a contract and accept the terms, even though they never went to walk the park, they never showed up to meet the owner, and he had no interest in selling to them.
So he didn't realize that he had signed something that was binding with the other people.
Correct.
Wow. So that's an example of, just learning as you go. Yeah, that could
Right.
happen to any seller.
It can happen to any seller. And this is, they had a good learning. Now this firm that does the representation, since this happened, they have changed all of their documents and they no longer will accept external LOIs. They're using their own internal LOIs that are non-binding because they will not
Much
have a conflict.
safer.
It's
That's
safer
right.
for their clients.
Yeah.
It was a bad decision. Now, what's really exciting is Jason and I are entering into a partnership with some pretty serious capital raisers. And we're going out this weekend to meet with them. And we are still looking to acquire RV parks. And we have a target of 10 in the next 12 months. And it's super
That's
aggressive.
so exciting.
Yes. And so we're consistently, we have a pipeline now of deals
Yeah.
that we're looking at and submitting offers on and in talk with brokers on and et cetera, et cetera. So it's not, for those that are listening to this, it's often easy for us to get to this point and you go, okay, you've been turned down 3 times. When do you just give up and throw in the towel?
You never give up.
You never give up. You keep going and you keep working at it because it doesn't always work out easy. And what you see on social media is you see people's success.
Yeah.
They don't share the things like we're sharing in the background where it's hard.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. Hats off to you that it's not always, sunshine and roses. You're sharing the real deal. Actually, I just thought that's a good name for a podcast, The Real Deal. Right? Because it's the real thing. You're sharing the bad and the good. And like you say, if you don't give up, you're going to get some wins. And if your deal is structured right, then those wins are going to, make up for the ones that fell through. For sure.
Right. And that's exactly what we're doing. And for me, it's very important to be conservative in my underwriting and to present good offers for investors, especially being new to this space. So I do pass on deals that other investors are willing to take.
Yeah.
Because they're willing to take single-digit returns and I am not.
Good for you. Good for you. I love it. So have you found, it seems like you're really niching down into RV parks. Are you interested in multifamily, apartment buildings, stuff like that as well?
Absolutely. And the reason it's a yes and. When it's a team of me and Jason and we have our day jobs, it's important to have focus to make traction. Because it's easy for us to get sparkly object syndrome and you're going all over and then you don't make traction on anything. So we made a decision that RV park was our niche this year because of the returns that it provides to our investors versus apartment complexes at this point. Now, when the market turns in the next 6 months or so on the apartment side and we start seeing those really good, valuable apartments coming to market, we're absolutely prepared to be in it.
Okay. Got
And
it.
I've already even positioned myself to be aware of the market shifts as the underwriter under Vina Jetty's mastermind. So, because I see the deals and I'm looking at them with the community.
That's so cool. So you can have it all. It's just a matter of laser focus on one thing at a time and then being willing to pivot.
Exactly. Being willing to pivot. And that's part of the conversation we're having this weekend with the people we're going to JV with, because they're coming from, they only wanted apartments and we convinced them to go into the RV space.
Cool.
So it's how do we balance each other and make sure that we're hitting our outcomes and looking in both spaces.
Yeah, no, that's great. Any other asset category that interests you?
Jason loves storage.
Yes, that's definitely a good one. Always.
So
Cool.
for us, it's businesses. And coming from W-2 jobs where we've worked in corporate for most of our adult life, the business side of it clicks better for us.
So basically, when you said first it's businesses, you're not necessarily talking about like acquiring businesses in general, but your niche is really businesses that are wrapped into real estate, like RV parks.
Exactly. if you look at it, RV park is a business. You have an operating model, you have employees, you have to run it. It's the same with apartment buildings. You get on large scale, you're running employees and a team.
Sure. Yeah.
Laundromats,
Yeah. I was just thinking of that one too. Yeah. It's still real estate. It's still a
still real
business.
estate, still a business,
It's the
still
best of
storage.
all worlds, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So if we look at those components of it, that's really where we would focus. It would be primary is RV park, secondary apartments, and then thirdly storage and laundromats.
Okay, great, great. So if anybody watching this, has those assets, you know who to reach out to.
Yes, please.
Yeah, yeah, Erica and Jason. Okay, so you had mentioned a few times a group that you work with, and you've said it's too fast, like I can't quite catch what you're saying. So who is this group?
Which one? The ones that I'm part of the
Like
underwriting?
that you
Yes. Sorry, I do talk fast when I get
It's
excited.
okay.
Vina Jetty's
Oh
multifamily.
yes, yes. I've heard her name. Maybe it was Jason that told me about her. Yes. And that was the first time I'd ever heard her name, but apparently she's like really, really big in the real estate industry.
She is the number one female in the US in multifamily. She's done over 1 billion in transactions.
Okay, cool. So you're teaching a course for her?
So as part of her mastermind, so much like Sub 2, she
Hmm.
has students that have joined her. Her community is about 250 people. So just like you have people that are teaching courses in Sub 2,
Hmm.
I do that for her group on underwriting.
Okay, nice. So, for somebody watching that doesn't know really the difference between, is it Vina? Is that what you said, Vina?
Vina.
Vina. Okay, thank you. So the difference between Vina's community and Pace Morby's community, why, I guess I'm curious, like, why did you become part of both communities?
Yeah. So becoming part of PACES was because we wanted to learn the creative finance side when we were purchasing the single family homes. And honestly, it was the foundation we needed. It's very applicable to even in the multifamily space and how we can structure deals. The Morby method is a great tool. But at the time when we were looking to get into multifamily, PACE didn't have a chapter or semesters regarding the multifamily space. He was coming out with it. He hadn't had the materials yet.
Got it.
And so we were looking for, as we do, a community of people who are doing what we want to do.
Yeah.
And it happened to be Vina had a weekend event. We ran down to Phoenix. We met with her and her team, absolutely fell in love with her and joined the community right away. Now there's others too, like you can go Tyler Devro, you can go Cody Sperber. There's all kinds of people that are playing in this space that
Hmm.
are big players. What made me choose Vina was she was just getting started and she was accessible.
That's good to
So
know.
yeah, so she has a smaller community. I don't have any problems reaching out to her directly. And I've been able to spend time with her where it has just, I feel so honored. She has accelerated my growth and my mindset this year alone.
That's awesome. So, interesting that a lot of stuff happens in Arizona. So Pace is from Phoenix area, I think, and then she is also
She's in Dallas,
okay. Okay.
but she was running events across the US to promote her mastermind.
Okay.
I actually got to, with Jason this year, we had the honor of speaking on stage at her events in Florida and in Denver.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Congratulations. That's really amazing. Oh wow. So you've given us so much fun information today. I love it. And I can see that you're really, really passionate about this and that you really, really do enjoy it. Like you said, real estate, yes.
I do. It's the quickest path to wealth for me, is how I look at it, right? If you're looking to change your life, I have fun in this space. It's amazing what you can do.
That's so cool. Can you talk to the people watching that want to be Erica? Maybe they have a full-time job. They're in the corporate world still. How do you recommend that they make that leap? Um, yeah, any
Yeah.
words of it?
Thank you for that question. I think that's really important. So, we didn't really talk about my corporate background, and it may just help people to know that I'm a senior manager at a medical device company. So I work in logistics, supply chain, and transportation, and it's been my career for the better part of 25 years now. I hate to say that, but
Yeah.
it's established, right? And I was at this point where I had to decide whether I was going to focus on my career, and I'm at that level where I can go into senior leadership levels, or I
Hmm.
was going to pull back and let my career flow, do good at it, and work on real estate. And I'm at this point where my career is good and it's gotten me to where I want to be.
Yeah.
I no longer have the passion for it. So it was, how do I balance both of them is the question you're really looking for, is that I have the unique position to be able to work from home,
Good. Yeah.
which gives me time back because I don't have 2 to 3 hours of commuting that other people have. So I bookend my days with real estate, and that's
Hmm.
how I've been able to manage it. And we've had to learn balance. It hasn't always been perfect. There was a time earlier this year where Jason and I were working our day jobs and we're looking at it 8:30, 9 o'clock, 9:30 at night, and we're going, we haven't stopped sitting in front of our computer,
Yeah.
right? And so now we've set boundaries with clear goals on what we want to meet in our real estate. Most recently, we implemented what's called the EOS system. That's EOS. If you want to read the book Traction, that has given us clear vision into our business and clear tasks that we need to do to be successful in our business so that we're not doing busy work, we're doing intentional work that helps us better balance our day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So you're truly busy. Like you haven't left your
Right.
corporate job, and it sounds like maybe Jason hasn't yet either.
No, he has not. And we
Wow.
travel. I mean, if audience wants to know, we are on the road every other week, if not for our day job, if it's for looking at RV parks, we are on the road constantly.
Wow. 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 You are really juggling a lot, but imagining how much you've accomplished in the last like 2 years, you are fast tracking yourself to your freedom.
Exactly. And this is where you have to be intentional. So I had a friend of mine call it submarining. So there was a time where I was very active in the sub 2 community, and it was good for me to get the visibility. I haven't been as much lately because I need to have the narrow focus on what it takes to acquire the park. So
Yeah.
you pick and choose what you work on, and you have to be selective and not feel bad about it, especially when you have a W-2 job and you're balancing both.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there comes a time, I would imagine that you, like you said, you're active in the communities,
Mhm.
plural, because you have more than one too. But then eventually you have enough of your own stuff, which is what you got, and that's where the money's being made, you know.
Yeah.
And so it serves a purpose to have the community, but yeah, now it's almost like you graduated from the community and now you're, focusing on your own thing. So
Right. And it helps to have gone through this EOS process too, because now we have our freedom number. So we have very clear outcomes that we have to reach that help us understand when we can leave our W-2 jobs.
yeah. Oh, that's so exciting. I feel like it's as good as done. It's already as good as done. You've already achieved it. Now it's just that interim gap period.
It is.
Like ordering something on Amazon, it's going to arrive.
Talk to us in a year, our lives will be very different.
I love that. That is so cool. You took control of your life.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
anybody can do it.
Yeah.
And if they're oftentimes I get the question, well, I can't do it alone. And I felt that way too. And honestly, you're going to have to date and you're going to have
Right.
to kiss some frogs in partnerships and figure out who your partners are to
Yeah.
get the traction you need.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Really good point. When you first said date, my mind went to like a literal partner. But I see your point. You don't have to have a literal partner. You can just find some real estate partners.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I love
If you're
that.
an integrator or visionary, the best thing you can do is find the opposite of you.
Yeah, get someone to complement your strengths and weaknesses. And yeah, that's great advice. If somebody wants to reach out to you and Jason, they want to do some deals with you, what is the best way to connect with you guys?
Great. So Instagram is the best way to get a hold of me. It's Ms. Erika Wald, although I do have to caveat it will be changing to Bates here in about 45 days.
She's counting down. That's great.
Down.
Oh, congratulations.
But Jason is Jason Bates Invest on the Instagram. And our fund website is Venture Vibes Fund.
Oh,
So the
cool. Adventure
three great
vibes.
ways. Venture Vibes.
Love that. Okay, wonderful. Erika, is there anything that I didn't ask that maybe you had in the back of your mind that you wanted to share today?
No, I really appreciate that you brought up the balancing of the workload versus running a business and the mindset stuff, right? Because I do see that's where people get stuck a lot in this space and they're not alone, right? And I think it's so important for people to know that what you see and on the social and what people are advertising isn't always what's going on behind the scenes. So
Yeah.
just know that sometimes it's harder than we want it to be, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to be worth it and it will happen over time.
Very empowering message. Thank you. That was a
Thank
great
you.
way to end this. Well, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. I know very well now how busy you are. So I really appreciate you taking out the time to do this. And this was wonderful.
You're
So,
welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
of course, I look forward to circling back around in a year and seeing what your lives are like then.
It'll be exciting.
For sure. All right. Bye.
Bye.